Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Shay. If you're new, this is 5 more careers that you can try after leaving teaching or leaving your previous career. Potentially maybe you just put in your 2 weeks or you're thinking about doing so. And so these 5 other careers are just ideas to take it as that's something that's going to help you broaden your perspective outside the box of your degree. And I'm going to do that by giving you the career, the positions that are underneath that career, the description of the career, the description, as well as the skill sets and passions that potentially you line up with within that new career. Not all of these careers take a college degree. In fact, a lot of them you can just start without any certification or degree. Some of these might take a certification to help you launch out more quickly into a new career, but it's not always necessary. And if you haven't seen my other video, you can click on that in the top left or right corner to see that one with the first 5 other careers that you can try. All right, let's get into it. All right, so the first one I kind of touched on a little bit in the previous video because food and beverage falls under like lodging and just the hospitality industry in general. So I'm gonna just get more specific with food and bev. And I have my computer here with a very nice, accurately described definition of this industry, as well as all the rest. So food and bev, here we go, is a series of industrial activities directed at the production, distribution, processing, conversion, preparation, preservation, transport, and packaging of foodstuffs. Foodstuffs is a fun word. Didn't even know that was a whole word. Anyway, the positions that fall under that, I was looking into production, distribution, processing, preparation, preservation, transport, and packaging, all of the things, but I really wanted to look into them with the mindset, with the eyes of a teacher and the passions and skills that brought us into teaching, like which of these pieces of the food and beverage industry are going to call to our hearts the most. So I really dove into the preparation and the transport part. The rest, there's so many different things, like for distribution and production, there's like the mechanical technician and also like the processing workers, those who drive the trucks, drive the vans, and all of those are great positions as well. But I omitted those from this video because I'm assuming that's not the majority of those who are coming out of the teaching profession. They're not necessarily looking for those positions unless it's like a niche and you're like, you know what, I love driving vehicles. I love working on mechanical machines. If that's the case, definitely dive a little bit deeper. Again, here just trying to broaden all of your thoughts outside of this narrow idea of just teaching. So diving into the transport as well as the preparation, we have host again and server, a cook, baker, bartender, manager, human resources, public relations manager, and a sous chef. And of course, some of these, even if you don't have experience necessarily in cooking, I know that with the skill set that you have, you can become hired on and then be trained on the job. The food and beverage industry is one that I've been in and out of for about 10 years in total. And they're all about just having the right people with this great work ethic who are willing to learn. And if you have a niche interest like cooking or baking, now is your time to explore that. If you just like the people part of it, you're a shoe-in, honestly, for things like hostess or being a host or server or a maitre d', human resources, individual who's there to hear the employees when they need assistance. Y'all know human resources, they're lifesavers. Anyway, the aligned passions and skill sets with that in relation to my first video, and if you missed that, please go back and listen to all of those. I describe all of these in bigger detail down to definitions and how to use that to sell yourself in an interview. And so just going again with food and beverage, aligned passions and skill sets that you already have as a teacher and how to bring that into this job, into your interviews. Culture, you enjoy learning about people, building relationships, communicating ideas, creating, helping, improving, advising, cooking, marketing, and hosting. And so you might be thinking like, well, why culture? Food is a huge part of any location's culture. You learn so much by what people like to eat. And then building relationships, that's a given. You got to make the customers happy. Communicating ideas, we're great and detailed with that. Creating, because if you're a bartender or a baker, there's a lot of creativity in that. So if you enjoy putting your hands to things and seeing things from your mind come out and design like that, maybe give that a thought. And also advising customers as to what they should get, planning and preparing what goes well together in flavor palettes. All of these different things you can discuss during an interview and sell that to the customer when you're in this position. Marketing goes along with that. Convincing, persuading people that what your ideas are really good and the best choices, at least to your own discretion. We do that when we are working with parents and with other teachers. We explain why we think things. So I know that you're going to be great at that. So this next career, you don't need a certification, you don't need an associate's or a bachelor's, but it does help launch you into that. But the idea here is, how can we take what we've already put so much work into and use that and get into a new career ASAP and just start getting experience in more of a specific way within that career. And this next one is journalism. So journalism is the activity or profession of writing for newspapers, magazines, or news websites, or preparing news to be broadcasted. And the best way, without getting a certification, without getting any kind of degree, is to do an internship. If you have the flexibility to do an internship that potentially doesn't get paid a whole lot, but they are the best way to start without a specific journalism degree. And I really recommend you checking out your local newspaper or your local magazine and look at their website and see if under like their career section, if there are internships available, or maybe positions that you think that after listening to this video and the skills that you know that you have and you're an expert with, that you can sell yourself and try that. I mean, go for it. And if you end up going for it and they're like, we need to have some experience, just know that there is a welcoming door there in the journalism career for you to get experience. And so there are multiple different types of journalism. And when I researched that, I got investigative, education, celebrity, crime, business, art, sports, and political. So you also have that opportunity to think about like, what is some passion that's just more personal to you? Like, do you love sports? Would you like to spend more time looking into those kinds of things, like the players and what's going on with the teams? Do you want to talk about that? Do you already do that just for yourself? And so like, it's like a 2-for-1 kind of deal. Like if you do that, then you're enjoying that part of that job too. For me, if I would find something that had a flexible schedule around an internship, so like maybe I became a server or a bartender, and that was my income while I was working towards my next career by getting an internship, because journalism was my next, like, that's what I want to go after. Anyway, align passions with journalism. You're going to hear a lot of these repeated. So again, if you haven't seen that first video, go back and hear me go more in depth of what each of these skill sets are and how you can verbalize that in an interview. But again, helping and advising, communicating ideas, learning knowledge, because a part of the journalism career is researching, and I think that's so exciting. You're just always learning something new. It's how stimulating. That's just wonderful. Building relationships. I feel like that's going to be across the board in anything you do. So sell yourself on that. You are fantastic at communicating and building relationships. And then again, culture. You're learning all about the world and then promoting those ideas on paper or online. Planning and creating and writing. We're on to number 3. All right, so this one is a broad career, and I'm gonna do my best to kind of break it down to potentially get your brain to think about things that resonate with you, and that's business. So business is the corporation, institution, firm, person, group, or association concerned with commerce, trades, manufacturing, or the provision of services. And right away, business just sounds cold in comparison to teaching and like food and bev, and like I'm gonna get to the other 2 ideas here, but actually business is also working with people, and you have that opportunity to do all of the same skill sets and the same passions, and also dive into some more personal niche interests in business. And I really wanted to explore that a little bit more because I really hadn't given it a whole lot of thought before. A lot of the time, I would say teachers are very entrepreneurial. We have like this will to want to be a leader. So business can be a great way to touch on that. Some positions that I found across the board that involve leadership and communicating ideas, and of course, building relationships with people and taking what we already know from teaching and that teaching degree, putting that into positions like being a real estate agent, especially if you live in a really big, up and coming, just highly desired neighborhood or a city. And I know definitely here in Charleston, we're just like booming. So it's definitely a thought that goes across my brain. And plus, I've talked to some friends who are in real estate and they have flexible schedules. It's sometimes hard to separate the schedules, like separate personal time and business time, which is like up to your own discretion. But I won't go into like all of that specifically because I'm not a real estate agent. I just know what I've been told. But potentially maybe we can get somebody on the channel to talk about some of their careers and how that aligns to our experiences as teachers, and talk about like the skills and passions and see how much they relate. That might be a really great idea. If you like that idea, let me know. Thumb up this video, something, just let me know. Anyway, real estate, also human resources. Again, that we'd be like a shoe-in for that. Sales representative, a customer service representative. All of these representatives work with people. We listen well, we give feedback well, we know our product well because we like to learn about them even if they're like new to the career and to the trade. That's different than like our methodologies and how we taught. But with that, with understanding how to teach people, we can really break down something nitty-gritty to make them feel like it's something that's important, that they want to buy, that they want to be involved in. I hope that's encouraging. And the aligned passions with that is helping, improving, advising, communicating ideas, of course, building relationships, counseling, because sometimes, especially I've heard from friends in real estate, like they're going through personal things at the same time as trying to have a professional transaction on a home. A home is very personal. It's where their lives are going to take place. It's where new memories are going to take place. It comes with a lot of emotion. Sometimes people are coming out of relationships and getting a home on their own, or maybe they are on their own and they're independent and they're just happy and excited that they got their first house. It takes a very compassionate, understanding heart to really thrive, I think, in a career like that, like real estate. People want to feel like they're heard and understood, and teachers are great at that. Also, I said entrepreneurship, leadership, and then this also, like I said, gives you a wide range of options because business is everything around us, to pick a niche that interests you specifically. So is that plants? Is that, I always think clothes and makeup, the things that I enjoy. Is it video games? Is it sportswear? Or is it shoes? Honestly, you can choose to sell any product or do any service or become a part of a business that does any of those things in one way or another. Even if you start in one position and you get well known with the product and know and network with people in your new job, always think about the potential of where you want to go and climb up the ladder in that career. Is there a position that you're willing to put in the time for so that you can actually build the experience that it takes to get there without going back and getting a degree or certification? Just some thoughts. This fourth one is going to make so much sense to you when I tell you, and what it is counseling. A professional relationship that empowers diverse individuals, families, and groups to accomplish mental health, wellness, education, and career goals. Y'all, that's what we do for our students. That's exactly what we do. And the different types of counseling are guidance counselors. You know, they're make or break for teachers in the school. You need a great guidance counselor. Mental health counselors, trauma, marriage, speech, adoption, admissions, rehabilitation, as well as life coaches. And I will put like a little asterisk here just out there that usually I've seen counseling take some kind of certification, an associate's or a bachelor's. So if that's something you feel really passionate about, that you want to just work really directly with people or students the way that you did in the classroom, but with like minus the academic standard part and just work with the social emotional part, then potentially it's worth going back to school and getting the training you need to become a counselor. And if I create that video about some ideas of flexible jobs at the same time that allow you to go to school online or do whatever you need to do to become one of these counselors or get into a career that will require a little bit of education, I think it's definitely worth diving in if you feel that's the direction you need to go. I think life is just full of learning, so sometimes it just calls to us like that. The aligned passions, like, do I need to say them again? I know it's getting repetitive, but that's the point. I want you guys to hear these skill sets and passions over and over again, that you can understand their connection from the teaching world, the things that are connected to you, and why you aren't identified only as a teacher, but as this individual with a lot of complex skills that you can sell yourself in new careers, because you're an expert with these different skills and you're passionate about it, which is why you're an expert, because you care so much. And that's what other businesses, that's what other careers need. People with great work ethic who also are passionate about what they do. And that would be counseling. So there's a line passion with counseling. Helping, advising, improving, communicating, building relationships, so important. Leadership, learning how to learn, wellness, and wisdom. So I say leadership because just like in the classroom, you want to be someone who is looked up to, who models the behaviors that you would hope that the individual would also take and apply into their life. As for building relationships, you know, for anyone to feel trust and safe with you, we are really great at establishing that with students so that they're wanting to be there with us and improve and be vulnerable. So that's important. Learning how to learn by us knowing how the brain works and the decisions that are made based on how the brain works and the experiences had and the knowledge known. We can plug in the pieces for individuals that are needing that as stepping stones to regain health or to get back to health or to become healthy. And it takes wisdom. So potentially, if counseling is something you want to do, think about something that you experience that you think that you could pass on to other people, and it would feel really, really good for you to take your testimony and work it for good. Something that was once painful, but now it can be used to affect so many people in a positive way. The last one I have for you in this video, which is the 5th one for this video, but 10 in total, is the fitness and health industry. Includes any person, company, or entity that focuses on exercise, health, and overall maintenance of the body. It goes with our passion with taking care of people, for wanting to see them improve and be their best selves, socially, emotionally, and physically. So this industry really ties into a lot of the reasons why we became a teacher. And you could become a coach, fitness trainer, instructors, or even recreation workers. I've seen within camps and within campgrounds, or also in parks. So take a look around to see if there is somebody or a company that just needs some planning and coordinating with exercise. For example, I just saw a local gym post a listing for needing somebody who knows children well developmentally, who can watch kiddos and do activities, basically gym class, for them while their parents are in the gym working out for themselves, and no certification needed. And it said requirement was had experience working with kiddos. So there you go, some outside the box ideas on the fitness world. If you don't necessarily want to get a certification or go back to school, and there's gyms everywhere, check out all the gyms around you and see if there's something like that where you can become kind of like the kids' PE teacher. And that can get you some income, while potentially maybe you want to go for that certification, go for that associate's or that bachelor's to become a trainer. There's a lot of websites online that do that, and it's not expensive. It's very inexpensive. In fact, there's a lot of them that give you like free trials and like the free book so that you can read into it and see if it's something you want to get into and take it all online. Those aligned passions, by the way, we're wrapping up here, is helping people, improving, advising, communicating ideas, building relationships, counseling, leadership, planning, creating, designing, all those exercises. What are you going to have each individual do based on their capabilities, based on their current progression, currently on whatever their goals are? Sounding like a teacher here, knowing what the end result, what we want to achieve, and being able to backwards plan design so we can get there with keeping in mind the individual, not student, but the individual athlete, and how we can plan things along the way that's developmentally appropriate, that's appropriate for their body to get them there without injury, and also encouraging them and making them feel confident that they can do these things and get their body to move, and that they are progressing, and rewarding them or awarding them with verbal praise. Sounds a lot like us in the classroom, doesn't it? And also healthy eating, if that's something that you enjoy. Maybe nutrition is something that you'd like to get into. There's certifications for that online as well. Exercising, self-care, and sports. All right, that wraps it up for now. Thank you so much for watching. I hope these 5 other careers have helped inspire you or sparked your interest in one way or another, has made you feel like you're not stuck in your career or the one that you just left in teaching, if it's specifically that one, which is the one I was in, and has allowed you to have new possibilities and new hope of what you can do with your skill set that you're an expert in, and sell yourself into a new career to start getting experience, going after your same passions with potentially different niche interests. And I'm just curious, which one of these was most resonating with you? Tell me in the comments down below, please, which career that was. If you haven't seen my last video yet with the other first 5 careers I talked about, you can click on that in the top or left corner as per usual. And if you did find value in this video, please thumb it up, share it with a friend who you know is also going through this transition as well, and consider subscribing. I'd really appreciate it. It really does make a difference, and I just am so, as I said, appreciative of it. Thank you so much for watching again, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!